Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about rain. So it's officially April. Every year I think to myself, April showers bring May flowers. Anybody else? Like, you're nodding. So yeah.
Of course.
And I have to admit, well, two things. One, in New York, I always think June is the rainiest month. But also, maybe this is a bit of a confession, rain makes me super cranky. Unless I'm home and I can just look at it through the window. But like if I have to be out in it, it makes me cranky. So then I learned everything that I'm about to share with you. And now it makes me a little less cranky. So as I always say, the difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it is understanding why. So for this situation, understanding what rain does or can do might help us be a little less cranky about it. So let's look at some of the benefits. So sure, we all know about it, rain helping the earth, right? Mm-hmm. We know about droughts and all that, right? Okay, so rain for the earth, great. Sorry, not sorry, this does not help my own crankiness. So let's talk about what it means for people, right? So interesting, the impact on the air is really something for us to consider. So rain creates cleaner air for us to breathe.
Wow.
So MIT's team of atmospheric chemists determined that fresh air is cleaner during and after rainfall. So apparently what happens is that the raindrops fall through the atmosphere and they attract and absorb microscopic aerosol particles before it hits the ground. So think like sulfates and soot, pollutants, even organic particles end up removed from the air with the rain. Wow. In a totally natural process. Yeah. So one MIT guy who did the research said it can potentially improve air quality and human health because of this phenomenon.
Wow.
Now, connected to this, we could also think of allergy relief. So rain can reduce the concentrations of airborne allergens. So anybody who has seasonal allergies, you've probably experienced this, right? Like your allergies bother you less after it rains. And so the reduction of the pollutants in the air also translates into higher oxygen levels in the air. Mm-hmm. So some researchers say that breathing fresh rain-washed air may improve respiratory function. Mm. So this Austrian scientist ran a whole bunch of experiments in the Alps and found that participants walking in heavily ionized air had higher levels of immunoglobulin A, or IgA, in the mucosal lining of the mouth, the nose, and the gut. So these are proteins produced by the immune system, kind of like antibodies, right? So the researchers speculated that the elevated levels explained why the participants had strengthened immune health and greater lung capacity. And then there's also, a whole bunch of well-being benefits that they think, for mental health and well-being. So we're going to come back to that in a second. I want to keep going on the air front for a minute. So while the humidity might, is part of my frustration, right? It makes my hair curly and frizzy and it makes me cranky, but rainwater is actually really mild on your hair and your skin. Oh. It has low mineral content and the humidity adds moisture. So there are also some companies, people will drink rainwater, and there are some companies sort of collecting rainwater and turning it into drinking water because also it's naturally alkaline in the pH.
Wow.
We did another nutrition nugget on alkaline water, but it's interesting here too. Another thing many people experience from the rain is that it can bring down the temperature. So we experience this when it's super hot in the summer and then it rains and it's cooler outside, right? Mm-hmm. The same thing can happen for our body temperature. So rain can help humans not overheat. So think about this in terms of exercise. So rain, while we exercise, can help lower body temperature. Maybe I feel like now this is making me think we should do a nutrition nugget on extreme heat and what that does to the body because the rain is sort of counteracting that.
Right.
Jumping on the exercise thing, there's some research out of Japan that looked at how energy metabolizes while running in cold, rainy weather. So basically, they said that the cold conditions increase the energy demand on the body, and therefore physical activity, when it's cold or wet outside, may help a person burn more calories than the same activity in a warm setting.
Mhm.
And this might even be the case for walking, so you don't even have to run. There was a study where they also said that walking in slippery or muddy conditions might have you engaging more muscles or having to work harder to keep you upright and balanced. So there may be some added benefits there. I'll fully admit, like, I don't know if either of these are enough to move the needle when it comes to like fitness training, but if it helps find the bright side of an otherwise less joyful weather experience, like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to the mood thing.
Oh.
The mood and mental health. So the scent. So you know that smell of rain? I don't know if you remember this, but like in the late 90s, early 2000s, Gap had these fragrances. And I feel like one of them was rain. I remember one being like freshly cut grass. So anyway, the scent from rain is called petrichor. And this is fascinating to me. So it actually is created when raindrops fall and hit the leaves of plants and trees and the soil and rocks.
Wow.
And all of these oils and good bacteria are released. And then if there's lightning, ozone is mixed into that too. And so this scent has a biochemically calming effect that's soothing for the body and the mind. Now, this may trace back to like human instinct of our ancestors, because in hunter-gatherer days, food and water would be more plentiful in times of rain than when there was a drought. So that might be a piece of why this is almost like calming aromatherapy.
Right.
So now some argue that you could also have improved peace of mind or mood, because if you're outside walking generally in the rain, there's fewer people than normal. So maybe it makes a more relaxing walk if you're not, if it's not crowded. So if you're looking for peaceful, quiet time alone, and we know that that can help de-stress, improve focus, and all those kinds of things. Now, the last piece is, despite my personal experience of walking in the rain, it can support us by helping create a shift in perspective. So this happens because the rain forces us to be aware of our surroundings, right? We want to make sure we're not slipping, that, we're holding the umbrella, or who's around us if we can't quite see. So it almost heightens our senses, forces us to be present. And so there it can improve mood, decrease the stress response, and allow us to think more clearly. So it's almost similar to meditation in that way, but much more instinctual.
Cool.
And then even if you're inside, right, and not necessarily breathing the cleaner air or smelling the petrichor, think about like even looking out the window when it rains, you have the sound of the raindrops and the way the light is different, or shapes or colors are kind of a little blurry or whatever. All of that can actually have a similar impact as like a meditative state. So for some of us, I think it can help. I say us for a reason because, rain can help us learn to let go, right? To not have to be in control all the time. So if you're feeling like you need to control everything, or you're stressed, maybe take a walk in the rain. Let it help you let go. And experts say that if we can learn to be okay with the rain, then that acceptance can then transfer to other parts of our lives. So the next time it rains, what do? Go outside for a walk. Go for a walk. You could certainly use an umbrella, right? And your rain gear. That doesn't take away from any of these benefits. And if you can, as we talked about in this week's episode, maybe look for forests or mountains, right? Nature. Those areas also tend to have more of the negative ions hanging in the air. So and they'll stay in the air for longer. And then when you come back after your walk, definitely change your clothes, right? So you're not wet, but you might even want to take a shower, and then that like restabilizes your body temperature. So perhaps with this season's rain, you can join me in learning to not get cranky, right? Enjoy the fresher air and let it work its magic. Let's see what happens. Alex, thoughts? Anything you want to add?
I love it. No, that was such a great perspective on rain. I have a whole new admiration for it and appreciation for it. And I feel like when it rains, I kind of get a little bit bummed as well. But now it's like, wow, it's doing so many good things for the earth and us that I didn't even realize. I always knew it was good, but now it's like a whole new perspective. So thank you.
Same. Yeah. Awesome. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or really all social media. I'm at Jen Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I want to hear from you, your takeaways, your ideas, your questions. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Alex Wolf, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Jen.
Friends, if you are not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries to show your support for this podcast, this community, but most importantly, support your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the spanakopita baked eggs. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.